You belong. Come on. All dogs go to heaven, right?
That's right. That's right.
Cats too.
Cats too. I know. Thank you for everybody for coming out on this cold December day when the city received a lump of coal from City Hall when it comes to how the city treats its most innocent animals.
And helpless.
And helpless. They treat them cruelly. And I'm deeply saddened that we have to rally and come together at this moment in the middle of the holidays as people are about to welcome Hanukkah, about to celebrate Christmas, about to celebrate togetherness. We're being ripped apart and divided by our heartless administration that is basically sending a signal that innocent rescue animal lives do not matter and residents' lives do not matter, especially when it comes to having to provide critical care and critical services to the most vulnerable populations, our animals. In a moment, I'm going to introduce some people that are going to speak up on behalf of our rescues. We have some rescues that are here and one that just unfortunately was turned away by the Mount Vernon Animal Shelter because the Patterson-Howard administration closed the animal shelter as a sad surprise after 2 years of raising taxes drastically. And still they're proposing a 7.8% tax increase today and cutting services like the animal shelter.
And the police officers.
They dismantled the police department and they're dismantling our social safety net. In addition, the administration is trying to outsource the services of the animal shelter to another community. And the biggest question that we're all asking is, what happens when the other communities cannot take the rescue animals that come here? Are they going to release the animals out on our streets? You're going to have massive problems in the community from cats, dogs, other types of animals attacking people, or just recreating and populating different areas of the community, creating health issues. This did not have to happen, especially after Mount Vernon received over $42 million in ARPA funds from the federal government. Not one dime was allocated toward rehabbing and fixing the facility here or properly staffing it to address the needs of the community. And right now you can hear over 20 dogs inside barking that are locked up in cages that are rat infested, that were left to rot because the administration did not value their life. And while it sounds good that they say they're going to partner, right? They're going to partner with another agency. They're leaving the full problem on the people of Mount Vernon, and they're counting on communities like Rye, New Rochelle, Larchmont to come in and take over the issues that are issues that we want to solve.
And that they created.
So before I turn it over, I just want to introduce Andre Wallace, a former government official here in Mount Vernon. I'll welcome him to say a few words, and then I'm going to introduce Regina, who's going to speak, and then Sky, who came out to try and get access to services but was refused because of the heartless decision by the Patterson-Howard administration.
Thank you, former Mayor Thomas. Basically, we all stand here in agreement for this particular facility. This is not the way to do it. You should get in touch with the community first, not have a press release come out after the fact where you said that you already made a deal to ship out all the animals and close down the facility. But you need to communicate with the community, which I know this administration spoke about partnership, and there's no partnership, because if you could reach out to the community, there are plenty of us who would like to come in and do work in this facility to make it better to what it needs to be. But if you don't reach out and you don't tell us, we don't know. So that is a lack of transparency, where you're not informing the community of what's going on. And to shut down a facility and to ship it over to New Rochelle just shows me another thing that this administration can't handle. We already have to go to New Rochelle for everything else, for entertainment, for movies, for whatever. But now we have to go there to deal with our pets. It is absurd. I'm not going to speak a lot about it. I'm just going to be more about it and get involved with how we can make this facility work, what we need to do to keep it here, to keep it open. I see that it's in this budget proposal that the funding is there in the budget proposal, but yet you're closing it down. So I'm not understanding exactly what it is. I understand it's a 66% cut to the facility, but each year you keep doing the same thing, which shows that you have no interest in anybody's pets, no interest in what's going on in the street, no interest in helping any animals in our community. And it is going to be a problem, just like the mayor said. When you shut this down, other places are going to get overfilled and overrun. What are you going to do with those animals then? Are you going to destroy them if there's not enough people to adopt them? So we need to know these kind of things, because it's very important that we look out for our pets and we really put an investment in this part of our community. Thank you.
And I just want to emphasize about the other communities, and everybody can relate to ambulances. And when you think about ambulances, you need them to come rapidly, not 30 minutes after the call. And that's been the experience in Mount Vernon as of late. And that's what's going to ultimately happen here. We're not going to have access to critical health facilities or support, and it's going to get far worse than what we see now. And that's where I just want everybody to know, like, I'm happy to stand here with everyone, including Mr. Wallace, where we typically don't agree on things, but we agree that this is wrong. And that's how important this issue is. So I thank you for being here and being a part of this, because you are an expert in construction. And to replace a roof like this and to provide a heating system, maybe a couple $100,000. Not even, right? So $42 million, you can't find a couple $100,000 to fix the facility. It's ridiculous. So with that, I'm going to introduce, Regina, who is an advocate, relentless, but represents, a huge component of supporting and servicing the Mount Vernon Animal Shelter. Thank you for advocating for this to stay open with us.
Thank you. Look, I have been a fan of Mount Vernon animals for a long time. I run the ASPCA clinics in the Bronx, and up until last year, when vets became overloaded due to the pandemic, a lot of people ran out, bought animals, got animals, overloaded vets. They used to do 100, now they do 1,000. Vets are going to go where the money goes. So vetting has become very expensive. Food has become very expensive because of the transportation issues, the things. Look, we all live this. We all know. Taxes have gone up, services have gone down. Things that are beyond our control that we haven't seen in our lifetime are going to hit. The problem with animals is that they're innocent. They didn't ask to be born in the puppy mills that made money off of their asses. They did not ask to be bought by stupid people that didn't realize that there's shelter animals dying across this country every year. But they are the ones now that are being dumped, even pedigree animals, in all of these shelters. The ACC in Manhattan, which has good funding, supposedly should have 100 animals. They have 300. They plead every day for these dogs' lives, and sometimes 20 of them can be killed in a day. When I came to this shelter and I seen the condition it was in, I offered my help for years. But it was only due to Officer Mecca coming here after 3 people went out on disability that I actually got to see the real working of the shelter. And I came up with a proposal. The ASPCA is now defunding the spay-neuter clinics. For right now, they're doing them in-house. They've cut off the ACC. They've cut off the outer boroughs. I was ordered last year to stop doing anything that wasn't in the 5 boroughs and asked for proof. Because I'm a Bronx resident, I was allowed to take any of these animals and put them under my organization name and do them. I have saved this administration at least 20 grand in vetting from early in the summer to now. I have vetted half of these dogs and cats in here, okay? So my heart belongs to them. I've met them on the truck. I know their plights. So when I heard that this administration didn't pay $20,000 to poor Pet Chester, who has a contract with them to spay and neuter, and that they were being refused appointments for lack of payment, I came up with the idea to get this administration here to let them take a tour and see what it looks like. Maybe meet the rat or two that I have and see the cockroaches running rampant, and maybe think about a proposal. I was offered grants to upgrade facilities that would offer spay-neuter, which they need here. I've done thousands of animals in this community. I was offering them an out. I said, let's privatize the shelter. Let's use half of it for boarding, grooming, spay-neuter, where we can make some money to run the facility, and you give me a contract so that we can still have half of the facility for the public. Some place for these animals to go. Maybe, since I have all these contacts, we can bring in a behaviorist to help people retain their animals. Maybe we can run a food bank out of here so that people can't afford food. They don't dump the animal, they keep it and they come to the food bank. These facilities like PetSmart, Petco, they throw out more stuff than you can imagine. If the stuff is expiring on the shelf in a month, they will throw it out. The food is good for 6 months. Why not give it to people that really need it? Coats, supplies. Do you know that a vet will charge $45 for a rabies shot or $45 for a distemper shot, and they cost $1.78 and $2.28? I know, I buy them direct for Zoetis for my shelter. Okay? The fact of the matter is, you can run low-cost spay-neuter programs out of here. You can run low-cost, no-cost vaccination clinics with the money that can be funded. You should have raised the adoption fees from $40 an animal, which is unrealistic for vetting, for food, for housing. Nourishell charges $200 and change. Yonkers does.
I paid $300 for my kitten.
$300 for a kitten, okay? We don't even charge that, but they charge $40. How do you expect a facility to run with no funding from the adoptions, from the administration, from the public? Maybe the community would donate more or volunteer more if the place wasn't as decrepit and falling down as it is. The problem here is that I offered them to take over the shelter, to take over the facility and rebuild it, to put in enrichment programs like trainers that would help people train their animals, like low-cost groomers so that if they had a little dog, they could afford it, spay-neuter programs. And you know what I got back? We'll hand you the keys today, but we're not giving you a cent. We'll pay the water bill and the electric. Oh, and you can pump $1 million into rebuilding the shelter, but we're only going to lease it to you, which they can remand at any time. So why would I go through the trouble of sinking all that money to rebuild this for them? I'm doing it for the animals. So I decided to team up with people that actually give a shit about the animals, not somebody that thinks that, and their words, animal people are small. Really? They have no idea the power that animal people have in the voting system.
Big time. Thank you, Regina.
Hopefully the voters will hear it. And a lot of them know me. So please, come out and vote for these people.
And so, Sky, I'm going to ask you, Sky, if you don't mind coming, because Sky, unfortunately, is going through what I went through a week ago when I came here to try and adopt an animal for my family. I adopted my cat from Mount Vernon Animal Shelter 15 years ago. He passed away from cancer. His name was Rex. He acted like a dog. Phenomenal guy. He looked similar to Oreo here. He was a cow cat. And so we came here with our kids to go through the experience of trying to adopt a new kitten for our family, and we were turned away and was not let inside because you could see the mess from the door. And you know, my heart broke, and I started asking questions and asking around, saying, hey, what's going on? Why is this like this? And I'm gonna let Sky tell the rest as to why she's here, and I'm gonna hold Oreo for you. Can't take him home.
Well, to answer the question, my family is going through a lot of health issues between both of my parents right now, and we just don't have the affordability to take care of them. So I decided, like, I've been looking for weeks places that like no-kill shelters, places where I could give him space, so that somewhere where he'd be okay. And then, like, I know this is here because I come to Target all the time. So I came inside, turned me away. So now I'm in the shower.
Let's get a picture of the cat. Maybe somebody on Channel 12 see the cat.
We'll get him vetted for free.
That's right.
So guys, for me,
I'll keep him.
Right now.
Friendly.
Well, I have
He's got 9 cats already.
I have a kitten.
It's
and
okay.
Has special needs, and you know, but I'm hoping that somebody out there will work with us to try and find Oreo a home, but also help Sky get Oreo the services that he needs. And this is why, you know, we need a shelter for our people in our community, not to, you know, ship them off and send them out and treat them like second-class citizens. That's it. It's a very simple, very private, and I thank you for sharing it with us publicly. I know it hurts a lot. You know, I feel your pain.
so,
They didn't say exactly. They just said they weren't. They didn't say exactly. They just said that.
No.
They didn't. I don't think they have enough space or something. They really give me a reason. They did give me an address to the Rochelle where I could go, so that's where I was going to take him. And then he just gave me a grade.
now, Mayor, we have a large group on Yonkers Voice dedicated to finding places where we can take the animals to minimize that traumatic experience when they go through adoption or shelters. If somebody on Yonkers Voice is interested and wants to adopt your kitten, how can they reach out to you? Do you have an email? Do you?
We're going to take the
Tell-
cat. Tony Ann is going to foster the cat, and we are going to get him vetted for free, and we will put him up for adoption. So you can contact Adorably, Paws and Claws, and we will make sure that Oreo finds the home he deserves.
So you heard it, how to get in touch with them. So in case if you have a space for.
So the good news is we have a solution.
Yes.
Thank you to Ardora Bullies
one.
for this one.
This happens every
But had we not been here, Oreo would be without the love that he needs and the access to help. And this is why we need to keep the shelter open, and we need the public to come out to the budget hearings that are going to go down over the next few weeks during the holiday, so people can say, we don't want coal for Christmas. We want, you know, a real respect for the community and the people, including the animals, the innocent rescues. And I have with me here a proud community member, or a real estate businessman, John Gold. I don't know if you want to say anything.
Sure.
Okay, we welcome John. He has a story about the animal shelter that I look for. He has a personal connection to understand how important animal shelters are in the community, not just from a real estate standpoint, but from a development standpoint.
Say this.
No, you don't have to say it, but you can
I'm
let
a
people
big
know.
fan of the ASAPA. When I was 18, I worked here for a day as punishment for doing, you know, stuff with the city. A teenager, and Judge Kendall at the time sentenced me to a day working at the animal shelter, of which I fell in love with. I've always been an animal lover, and always will be.
So I don't know if you guys have any more questions, but I'm happy to see the turnout. I see former Mount Vernon Police Commissioner Richard Burke here. Thank you for being here. I don't know if Mr. Burke, Commissioner Burke, you want to say anything? Or Commissioner Burke, you want to say anything about the shelter?
All I will say,
Hold on for a second.
this thing has been here since August Patrol put it up, okay? It's the same thing every time. The last time somebody from a different party or whatever, and I'm not a member of any political party. There's no checks and balances here, folks. There's no checks and balances. This crap is going to continue. From the governor not removing a corrupt controller who didn't even have money to pay for gas and police cars to this. It's a monopoly. I have Russian friends that tell me, oh, you think our country's any different than yours? Your people stay in your office for 40, 50, 60 years. Well, it is the same. And until people start looking at that ballot and researching the person they're voting for, it's going to continue. That's all I have to say.
Thank you, Commissioner Burke. So, you know, I know we said a lot. We put our heart on the line, and I'm happy that people with hearts are here to help our innocent rescues. And I hope that the message, you know, is spread far and wide. This is the first of many protests we're going to host, and we look forward to showing up at the budget hearings to demand that the shelter be restored, rehabilitated, and reinvested in. And they actually work with the community. You know, it makes business sense from a safety standpoint to have the services here and our residents pay for it in taxes, and you're demanding an 8% tax increase already, you have over 40 million in federal funds. We're only looking for a couple $100,000 to turn the heat on. I mean, it doesn't make any conceivable sense. It's a heartless decision to shut down the shelter and then to tell every other community in Westchester, hey, here's our problem. Here's our problem. It's disrespectful, not just to the other communities, but to the residents of Mount Vernon who can solve this problem ourselves if the people, as Commissioner Burke pointed out, have the right priorities of the people in mind. So I thank you all for coming. If you have any questions, we'll stick around. But I definitely thank you all for coming out and being part of this to help highlight and spotlight a very important issue in our community.
Mr. Thomas, can I add just one thing? You have to understand one thing. When communities have problems like these with their animals, every other community is doing the same. When you offer a contract to another community to pick up your slack and your problems, when that money runs out, the questions you all have to ask City Hall right now is when $165,000 runs out in New Rochelle that you're offering them to take in these poor animals, what's going to happen? Are they going to stop intake? Are they going to give them more money? If they're going to throw money at the problem, why didn't they throw money at this? Why didn't they keep their resources where they belong, in the community they serve? You need to make these people accountable, and you need to ask these questions. Go to the budget hearings. Go to City Hall. Write Governor Hochul. Do you know that she's willing to give $500,000 to $1 million to decrepit shelters? Maybe if all of you call up the governor and you let them know about the controller, about the regime, about the closure of this poor shelter, maybe we'll get the grants that we need. Maybe we can rebuild the community's shelter back to where it should have been. And maybe we can finally get these corrupt politicians out of office. That's all I got to say. Because throwing the animals to another facility that's going to already be overloaded is not the answer. Keep them where they belong, in their community. Have a good day.
Thank you.
Richard, can I pull you for a one-on-one quickly?
Take Oreo.
Always nice to see you. And today I'm not just here to report, it's something that I really take to heart. I feel connected because I'm an animal lover. Now, Mayor, I was inside. I saw the conditions. Very in disrepair, extremely in disrepair. Now, do you have a group of probably investors or people that love animals that would be ready to upgrade the shelter and keep it open?
Absolutely. I've reached out to many of the contractors, being the president of the National Building Association. And people will donate. I had one person I spoke to this morning who said, listen, I will donate a boiler. Other people will donate the services to install that boiler. People will come out. I could contact many contractors. People love to give back, especially when it's for a big cause. You know, what we have to start doing is understanding that we can't keep passing the problem to somebody else, because we have to start to be responsible and take care of our own issues ourselves and not count on everybody else to do the work for us. You know, and to me, this administration, if you can't manage something as little as this, how do you expect to manage a city? You just can't. What we need to do is start to sit down with community folks, have this conversation before you just go up and do something like this and say, hey, we're going to shut it down. You don't understand what it means to the community and what it means to everybody here who brings their pets and animals to drop off or to pick up or to adopt or to even volunteer. So there is a wide community of animal lovers who love pets and really want to get involved. But you have to engage with them and you have to have that conversation, because if we don't know what's wrong, we can't help you fix it.
Now, Mayor, it looks like they just announced this a few days ago, if I'm not mistaken. Do we still have time to reverse this decision and get to work and make this workable?
Well, there's always time to do a lot of things and change a lot of decisions. Everything is not already signed and sealed and done. You could always change your mind and return, back to what we originally want to do, is to fix up this facility and keep it here in Mount Vernon. Oddly is, I looked at this year's budget, the budget shows that there is funding for, you know, the animal shelter. So why would you fund it in your budget at the same time, and then you're saying on the other side you're signing a deal to get rid of it? So what? And where are you telling us the truth, and where are you lying? Because obviously, if you're putting it in the budget and you're saying you're going to keep it open, but then on the other hand, you're not telling other people to the last minute that you're getting rid of it, then what are you going to do with that budget money? And what is going on exactly? So when you run for office and you say you want to be transparent, then be transparent.
Now, this rally was just posted a day or 2 days ago, so many people could not make plans to be here. But I am sure that many people are asking the question, what can I do to help the shelter continue to be open and continue to provide the service to the city of Mount Vernon? What do you suggest they do?
Now we have to focus on talking to this administration so that they can overturn what they're doing and make the right decision instead of the wrong decision which they're doing. So people have to really come out and speak. You have to call into the city hall. You have to speak to people. You have to voice your concern about what's going on. You know, and plus, when the election comes up, you have to really vet the people that you are voting for, because obviously, everybody tells you a story. You have to look at what they're doing, not only listen to what they're saying, because a lot of times, if you look at what they're doing, you know, with what they're saying, it doesn't match up. So we need people that are going to be in office that are going to have this kind of conversation that you can truly believe, and not really just say one thing on the other hand and do something else. This animal shelter is a very small job to do. It's not a big lift. It can be done easily. It can be repaired easily. It can be funded easily. It is not something that is a burden on the city. It is an asset for the city. But if we continue to ship everything out that we think has a problem, we're not going to have a city left.
So, sir, elections have consequences.
Absolutely. Absolutely. When you vote, make sure that you are vetting the people that you vote for. Understand what they've done and what they haven't done, and know if they can do the job. Like I said, if you can't manage something as little as this, how do you expect to manage a city? And this is just a little animal shelter. You know? So it's a big problem. And we have to figure out how to keep it.
Thank you, sir.
It's not a monetary problem, it's a priority problem.
We don't really know what the plan is for the animals. Where does the partnership?
We will be talking with the mayor as soon as the News 12 is done.
Really works with the community to give us a clear answer to what is going to happen. It's not necessarily.
I'm sorry, we are live.
Okay.
Can you? I'm sorry to interrupt. Virginia,
Hi.
I heard you.
I know.
I heard you.
The world.
I heard you loud and clear, and I could hear and feel your passion for the little guys that are in there that need help.
A lot of help.
A lot of help. Give us a little bit of the background story that lots of people might not know. And there is lots of people that only heard about today's rally yesterday, because this was kind of in a rush. So they might be out there watching you, speaking, but saying, what can I do to help?
A lot you can do.
Please tell
You
us.
can write to your senators. You can write to the governor and beg for a grant for the Mount Vernon Animal Shelter. You can ask for an investigation of the administration.
Current, the
where
current.
all of this money has gone. They were given $300,000 for essential workers, which include animal shelter workers. The shelter never seen a penny of it. The police didn't see a penny of it. Where did the money go? They want to put a $90,000 surplus that they could have paid for food, for dishes, for supplies, when the Friends of Mount Vernon took their money out of their pocket and paid. And now they want to buy a DCO a van to go around and pick up stray animals to bring to Nourish Health. That's your solution? Really? Why not invest in the property you have running and invest in the animals that are stuck here? Why not try to demand spay-neuter services for people? The girl that you just seen that was giving up Oreo would have retained her cat, but she has two sick parents. She doesn't have any money. and the cat is peeing all over the apartment because he's not neutered. If he was able to get neutered, she would have retained the cat. But when she went to the vets, they wanted $600 or $700, which when families are on budgets and low income cannot afford. So their answer is to get rid of it. But why not offer them a solution? It takes 5 minutes to neuter a cat. They literally can do it in 5 minutes. These vets are not held accountable because they are not governed by any real programs like our own doctors. When you go to a doctor, they tell the doctor how much they'll pay for certain services. Why isn't that the same in a veterinarian? Why are the animals always the ones to get crapped on? Gandhi said that the way you judge the human is the way they treat their animals. We failed.
Wise words. Thank you, Virginia. Mayor?
Just text me. Okay, I'm here. Okay. Hello.
Mayor, we have a problem. As they say, Houston, we have a problem here.
We have a huge problem right here.
Right here.
I love this place. It gave my family our first cat, and I came back to get, another kitten, to add to our family.
A few days ago, right? I saw the picture. Now, Mayor, seems like they're trying to mask the problem and not finding a solution for the problem. It's on a budget. Money is on a budget marked for the animal shelter. What do you think happened? Where is that money?
It's hard to say what this administration is doing and what they're saying they have set aside. They constantly, bait and switch, and they're not telling the whole story. It's just a bunch of lies, and I hate to have to speak on this, but I have to because it not only hurt my family, but it's hurting all Mount Vernon's residents and families.
There is lots of people that we've been promoting, come down here and adopt a pet to help those little guys that are there. But what about tomorrow? What about those pets that might need a place to be tomorrow, next week?
What about the next 15 minutes?
Or we just saw it.
It's heartless for Sean Patterson-Howard to say going into Christmas, these innocent rescues don't matter. The people that want to support it and solve it don't matter. And even though that Sean Patterson-Howard is sitting on millions of dollars in federal funds or have access to millions in grants from the state, she's like, I don't care about this. It's wrong. It's a city service. It helps our people in our community, and I can tell you that it's just unacceptable that she's making this type of decision with all of the solutions around her, especially the people that are here that want to help and make it work.
Now, Mayor, you think this was strategically done on Christmas weekend, not to get a good turnout, people calling, because people are busy, people are out of town. So what do you think on that?
It goes to show you how sneaky and conniving the Patterson-Howard administration is, and it goes to show you how much false talk that they do. And for them to call a decision or announce a decision on a Friday afternoon that they're closing the city's only animal control facility is really a threat to public safety. Think about it. If you're going home from work and there's a loose dog out, who are you going to call? New Rochelle? You got to call Mount Vernon. And then when Mount Vernon says, oh, let me call the people in New Rochelle, they got to come, 25 minutes over here. What's going to happen between you and that loose dog? Is the dog going to get injured? Going to get hurt? It's going to hurt somebody? You're going to chase kids going home from school as they look for food? It goes to show you how careless, reckless, and heartless Sean Patterson-Howard is. And what is going to happen to the animals that come here? They're going to get dumped here, we're just gonna let them out, run around by one of our parks. I mean, it's unconscionable. And this issue, I tried to get it resolved when I was in office, but the controller at the time blocked the money. But I'm happy to see that the people that are still volunteering here are still very much committed and dedicated to making sure this facility works. And again, it's not going to take a lot of money to fix this. It takes political will. It's a priority problem with Patterson-Howard. It's not a money problem in Mount Vernon.
So, Mayor, elections do have consequences. Make sure that you vote for the right person, and that brings that you are running for mayor, correct, on the next election?
I'm running for mayor, but that has nothing to do with this.
Well, it does, because you're going to make...
I'm going to fix this when I become mayor again, there's no doubt. I'm going to rebuild this up, and I'm going to work with even Patterson-Howard to educate her on how to get this to run properly and to fix it. But she has to be willing to work even with me, because I'm working with the people of Mount Vernon that are already volunteering their time, effort, and treasure to make this work. Our tax dollars are going towards it, so as a taxpayer, I'm offering to work with her. But as the next mayor, I definitely will not only fix this, but this place will shine. There'll be more stories than one, it'll be at least 2 stories, but we'll get to that vision at another point. The problem is, we need to fix it now.
Well, that was my point that I was bringing up. This is not about you, this is not about her, this is about the service that the people of Mount Vernon need. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
And a Merry Christmas to you and your family.
The cold for Christmas here is not going to be cold. We're going to use it to warm up the all.
So just one last question, Mayor. Tons of people, because this announcement for this rally was kind of in a rush. We just found out about it yesterday, so lots of people might not have known, but they are thinking, what can I do to help this case?
Thank you for that question. So what I asked the people to do is to contact me on my Facebook page, Mayor Richard Thomas, and I will let you know when we're going to have our next organizing meeting. Look out for the flyers to show up at the Mount Vernon City Council budget hearing, because we want the City Council to reject the Patterson-Howard tax and destruction of our community. And we're going to show up at these budget hearings and make it be known that we need your help to get the animal shelter back open and get the tax situation under control. So reach out to me on Facebook, and we'll invite you in to show up and be with us as we take back Mount Vernon for Mount Vernon.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Guys, as always, don't buy, adopt. There is tons of pets looking for a good home to go to. So don't buy, adopt. Go to one of your shelters, Mount Vernon Shelter, Yonkers Shelter, your local shelter, regardless of where you live. Go to your shelter, get an animal there. Do not buy, adopt. Thank you for watching. Please share these streams, share this video. This is something positive, something that we wish you would share. Thank you guys for watching.